You may have heard of the Ogre Moor tribes, but have you heard of the McOgres? Today on the Hobby Grotto, I wanted to share a little project I've been working on, and I'm loving it. This all came about when I was making some ogre models and wondering how I could make them a bit more interesting. And this is where the story of Ronald McOgre begins. You see, he was an ogre who saw things differently. He wanted to explore the possibilities of cuisine, not just eat the meat raw. And other ogres took notice, and he began to gather followers, and thus the McOgre clan was born. These radicals will not only cook the meat, but serve it in between delicious buns. Ogres would come from all around for this delicacy, and as the operation grew, so did the McOgre clan, becoming widespread across the land. They would set up their shops close by areas of ogre activity and ply their trade. Now, of course, these ogres still fight like any other ogres, so they're very useful in war. They just prefer to use bludgeoning and cleaving weapons on the field of battle to help prepare the meat for their culinary enterprises. Now, I've already laid down all the base coats here and added the Nuln Oil wash, so let's look at some painting. I'm coming back with all the original base coats to freshen up the colours after the wash, so you'll be able to see all the paints I used to get to this stage. And painting these McOgres really reminds me that it's great to have fun projects as well as serious ones in the hobby. Warhammer originally had a lot of goofiness in it, and it's great to bring some of that back with both fictional and non-fictional real-world references. You can look for inspiration anywhere in this hobby, and I love that. I'm only using standard colours here, but when combined, they create that iconic imagery we all know so well. The imagery of the McOgres, of course. This relayering of all the base coats after the wash is important to build that first level of shading by leaving all the wash in the recesses. I actually built this standard bearer icon using some plastic card. It was very simple, just cut it up with some clippers. Something fun about ogres is that you can be a bit messy with this kind of construction. It's kind of got that orky vibe a bit, you know? For the red and yellow, I'm layering up using techniques you may have seen in my other videos, just gradually building up the colours. The Citadel ranges of yellow and red are really great, reliable colours, and going from Khorne red through to Mephiston red, and finally adding some Evil Sunz Scarlet creates a nice vibrant red, and it's the same for the yellow. I find working up through XV88 to Avalon Sunset and beyond such an effective way of creating those bold yellows. I was actually making these McOgres for a Warcry warband, which is one of my favourite GW games that I don't get to play nearly as much as I'd like to. But a whole Age of Sigmar army of McOgres would be pretty sick, I reckon. Feel free to check out my tutorial on painting different skin types. I'm just going for a simple Caucasian skin tone here, building up through Cadian flesh and Kislev flesh, but it's always good to have some skin variety on models like this where you see a bunch of it displayed. If you're enjoying this video, you can help me make even more videos by becoming a channel member, which opens up a bunch of cool YouTube perks, or leaving a super thanks in the comments. All support is always greatly appreciated here at the Hobby Grotto. To push the highlights further, I like to add in some white, particularly on the face and hands, because skin is generally a focal point on minis. You can really spend a lot of time on this skin, building up highlights, because it's a larger model, you know? If you want to invest more into it, the sky's the limit. And I had to add in a bit of freehand here, of course. You've got to have the logo done properly, even if you're an ogre. It's important for the marketing. I've got lots of ideas for the McOgre Moor tribes, and even more questions. Do I need to 3D print some hamburgers? What about Grimace? Do ogres like sweet and sour sauce? So if you want to see more of this project unfolding, let me know in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Hobby Grotto.